With Nintendo's E3 Direct finally behind us, I wanted to go over some of the biggest announcements from today. There were certainly some very good announcements. Unfortunately, it seems like almost everything got leaked beforehand, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Overall, it was a bit lighter year in terms of just E3 in general. Some of the other shows were a little bit lackluster. I think Microsoft had a very good showing, and it seems like Nintendo had a mostly good one as well. It seems like the reaction to it has been almost overwhelmingly positive, so it's nice to see that. There were a few things that I think everyone was looking forward to that didn't get announced, but there was definitely plenty there for everyone to get excited about. And it does seem like a lot of things might have still have gotten pushed back from this year until 2022, 2023. It's perfectly understandable. It's happening to every gaming company. And I'm sure Nintendo had to shift around their planned releases multiple times for this year and even into next year, really. So this is meant to be kind of just a really quick recap of my thoughts on some of the announcements at the Direct today, and then I plan on doing just kind of a full E3 video in the upcoming days. So with all that said, let's get into it. First off, like I thought they would, they revealed a new fighter for the Smash Fighter DLC pack. Kazuya from Tekken is coming, and I thought the cinematic was actually pretty funny where he was dropping Kirby off the cliff. That was definitely pretty funny. Yeah, there's one more fighter to go. I am curious to see if they will continue to support the game after this DLC. I mean, I'm sure they're going to support it, but I wonder if there's going to be any more DLC. I think this might be the end. It would be crazy if they did another one. You'd think they would kind of start working on the next game, because I'm sure they take quite a while to make. It's been pretty crazy how much they've supported the game with the new fighters and just new content continually coming out over the past few years. So I'm sure Smash Bros. Fans are very excited for that. I did play it quite a bit when I bought it when it came out. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I haven't gone back to it in a while, but it's one of those games that you can just kind of pop in any time and have fun with it. So I'm sure I'll go back and play it again sometime. Also, like I said, we did get confirmation they are still working on Metroid Prime 4. Just like I thought, they just kind of said that they wanted to reassure fans that they are still working on it. But they did announce a new 2D Metroid game, Metroid Dread, which I have to say looked really interesting. It's a very kind of, it's not, we've seen that before where you have something chasing you. I was kind of got the, it made me think of Alien Isolation when I saw the robot chasing Samus. It's definitely a creative way to kind of do a new spin on the franchise, and I think it looks very fun. I have never played a 2D Metroid game, or really, I don't think I've ever played any Metroid games, so it looks fun, and I might end up checking it out, but I know the Metroid fan base has just been dying for a 2D game, and it's always nice to see when a dedicated fan base gets a game that they've been waiting for a very long time. I think they said it's been like 20 years since they released a 2D Metroid game, so it's really great that Metroid fans have a new 2D game to look forward to. And then, of course, they will also have Metroid Prime 4 in, the upcoming years. So, and the best part about Metroid Dread is that it's coming out in just a few months on October 8th. I really enjoy when a game gets announced and you just have a release date a few months away. It's great. You don't have to wait years and years and have to speculate on if it's ever coming out, and just, getting basically an announcement and then them going radio silent for years. So really, really great to see that. We also got a new Mario Party announced, or rather a collection of older Mario Party boards. It's kind of like a remastered. It's called Mario Party Superstars. People have loved the Mario Party games for years. They bring back some of the best boards. Seems like a great idea, and it seems like everything can be played online, including matchmaking. That is an incredible thing to put in with Mario Party, and I think a lot of people had wished that was in Mario Party 8. I did see there was kind of like speculation that a new Mario Party was going to come out. I didn't really see any concrete rumors, although there might have been one around. That's why people were speculating on it. But it says from the Nintendo 64 era in a collection of 100 minigames. So it's great. And it comes out on October 29th. It actually, there's actually plenty of stuff for Nintendo fans to look forward to this October and November, it seems like, and when it was looking a little light beforehand. We also got the Life is Strange True Colors announced for Switch, along with the remastered collection. I played the first Life is Strange and Before Storm. Typically not my style of games, but I actually did enjoy them quite a bit. I didn't play 2 yet. At some point I'll pick it up, probably just a platinum because I'm crazy like that. But Life is Strange fans can finally play it on Switch, which is great. One thing that really shocked me was Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy again being announced for Switch. I really didn't think a game of that, graphical fidelity would come, but it is a cloud version, which is very interesting, and it's coming out on the same day as all the other consoles. I am wondering, because I didn't know until after that it was a cloud version, because when I saw that, I'm like, that looks too good to be on the Switch. I'm like, did they put that on a Switch Pro or something? Like, the graphics just look too good. It looked almost identical to the Xbox Series X reveal just a few days ago, but it is a cloud version, so I know they have tested out games on the cloud in Japan. I believe they did it for Assassin's Creed Odyssey and another game. So it must have been successful enough to the point where they feel like they can launch full games on the cloud. I think they actually have done it for a few other games. Was it Hitman 3 was supposed to come out on it too? Yeah, so that's a great way for, if someone only has a Switch and they don't have like a PC or another console, they can experience brand new, really high graphical fidelity games, day and date on the Switch as other consoles. Always concern is, especially for an action game, is it going to be laggy? It's probably going to really be dependent on your internet connection and how close you are to the actual server. Someone like me, I probably wouldn't be able to play it. Every cloud service I've tried just does not work very well, especially for action games. I wonder, I'm sure we're going to see more of these cloud games get released, because now with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S and X, it is going to be a huge technological hurdle for gaming companies to try and release games that are meant for newer consoles back on the old Switch until they do an upgraded model of the Switch or Switch 2 or whatever. But this is kind of like a band-aid approach to it. It definitely works. It might not be the best way to experience the game, but if you only have a Switch, it is at least a way for you to experience it. Another game that Nintendo fans can look forward to this November is Shin Megami Tensei 5, which did get leaked beforehand, but now we got official confirmation will come out on November 12th. This one looks fun. I actually think I might check this one out. I might play some of the older games first, but I definitely think this is, I just like RPGs in general, so, and I've enjoyed the Persona games, so pretty sure this one will be enjoyable for me as well. And then we did get actual confirmation that there is a new WarioWare game, WarioWare Get It Together. We saw the leaks, or not really leaks, but people were, reporting online that they got a survey to see if they would pay, I think, $50 for WarioWare, and there was a lot of speculation if there was a new WarioWare game in the works. Now, when I saw that, I thought that there would be one. I didn't think it would come out this fast. I thought they were kind of still developing it, but it looks like it's coming out September 10th. Yeah, and pre-orders have already started, and it is going to cost $50. That's a little bit much for that, at least for me. Nintendo does have the problem where they overprice everything. I mean, I wonder how well it's going to do. I mean, a lot of overpriced games have sold extremely well on the Switch, and it wouldn't be so much of a problem. I mean, it would be still a problem, but it would be more tolerable if stuff actually went on sales, because you look at any of the, even the best of the PlayStation games and Xbox games, if you wait a year or two, you can get them on a really deep sale. Even for every third-party developer, the biggest games, they eventually with time they go down in price. That's how it's always worked. Not the Nintendo games though. I mean, you're lucky to get 10, maybe $20 off of first-party games. And that's it. There's been a very select few games that have gone down in price. You can get the Fire Emblem Warriors physical copy for $25 to $30, which is one of the cheapest games I've seen. That was one of the first Switch exclusives though, so it's been around longer than everything else. I don't think the digital version has ever gone on that steep of a sale. And Mario plus Rabbids Kingdoms, which is technically, it's made by a third-party developer, and Ubisoft games, they're kind of famous for doing their crazy discounts after just even a month or two. I guess it's not super surprising that game, I mean, it's $10 right now. Yeah, WarioWare is one of those ones. If it was $20, I would definitely grab it, but for $50, I might miss out on a game that I otherwise might enjoy, but I just don't It's just too much. But people who are fans of that franchise, you have a new game to play, which is good, even if it is overpriced. But I don't know. They definitely have a pricing issue, and I don't think it's ever going to get fixed, but I wish it would be. Moving along quickly, we did see some Zelda stuff. Like I thought, we definitely got some more on Skyward Sword. You know, that is the big game that's coming out this year, and they want to focus on that, obviously. They announced a Game & Watch with a couple of, or 4 retro Zelda games on it. I think a lot of people kind of thought they were going to do that, because since they did that with the Mario Game & Watch last year, I wish they did one for Fire Emblem. Why didn't they do one for Fire Emblem? Not that I would have bought it, but it would be cool to have one out there, I guess. And then we did actually see a short new trailer for Breath of the Wild sequel. You know, it was short, but it did show off a little bit more, and we actually got a release window of 2022. But it does seem like that is going to be the big holiday release for next year. I'm glad people finally know when that's going to come out. We finally got to see a little bit more of it. That might be when we get the Switch Pro, too, I'm thinking. Like I said in my last video, I think they might have seen how bad of press Sony and Microsoft have been getting and they might have wanted to just wait till they had plenty of supply to meet demands before releasing it, so they didn't have to deal with that negative press, because Nintendo really doesn't like negative press, so even more so than the other, gaming companies. So I think they maybe have pushed it back a bit. And speaking of Switch Pro, obviously we didn't get it announced. If that's not a thing, I think a lot of news outlets are going to take a huge hit to their credibility. Places like Eurogamer and Bloomberg, you would think they'd have to have something pretty solid to go on if they actually were to publish a story like that and put their, the name on it. So if it ends up not being a real thing, in my eyes, their credibility is going to be hurt, because that means they were just kind of taking word of mouth from untrusty sources. I mean, you'd think they'd have to have gotten their source would have to be someone from Nintendo. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Nintendo might have just decided to wait a little bit to release it. And like I said, I don't think they're going to announce it until they basically, they're going to announce it very, very shortly before they actually release it, because the Switch is selling so well, and they wanted to keep selling, their older stock. And basically, once they get rid of their older stock, they'll announce it. It might be something that they announce for the Breath of the Wild sequel. I was specifically looking at all the games. It does seem like everything was running on a base Switch. You can tell, especially Breath of the Wild's sequel looked like it was running on a base Switch. So at the very least, it doesn't. If there is a Switch Pro, the game will run on both models, because I think that was a little bit of a concern for some people. So at the very least, everything announced today will be running on a base Switch when it gets released. And the last kind of interesting thing we got was Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, the sequel to Mario and Rabbids. I played a bit of it. It was fun. I didn't finish it. I keep meaning to go back and finish it. Coming out in 2022. So I will definitely want to finish that first one before it comes out. I gotta say, that looked really, really, graphically looked, just the art style looked really good. It's going to be one of the best looking Switch games out there. So really incredible what they were able to do with the base model of the Switch, being able to put out like that. They're going through the galaxy. It looks like an interesting, setup for the game, and it's supposed to be a little bit more open. We'll see how that works out. I felt like it was fine being kind of like a semi-linear game before. They always, they want to, it's Ubisoft, they have to have their open worlds, basically, so it's actually kind of shocking that the first one wasn't. There's some things I would like to see improved in the second game. I think they had a good foundation, basically, and if they just improve on a few things, it could be a really, really great game. I'm a huge fan of XCOM. The first XCOM game is one of my favorite games ever, so anything in that style I typically do enjoy. Other than that, a lot of third-party ports, like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and there's some other stuff. Nothing really there wasn't anything that was really a crazy surprise. Like I said, basically everything was leaked out beforehand. But, I saw leaks or rumors, supposedly for basically every Nintendo franchise. If everyone across the internet just guesses every franchise, some people are going to be right. And a lot of those rumors didn't have really the specifics right. So I think a lot of them, even though some people might have claimed they had a leak and they were technically correct in the game that they leaked, the details weren't really right. So I don't know if they actually were just I don't know if they actually leaked something or if they were just making an educated guess, basically. But yeah, basically everything on this list I did find at least a rumor or a leak for, which, you know, it kind of takes like a little bit of the surprise out of it. I was kind of expecting I was expecting a little bit more. I mean, everything that was announced was great, so there's definitely a lot more to play this year than I thought. There's no big game like, you know, Breath of the Wild 2 or, you know, Mario Odyssey 2, something like that, but there's a lot of very good, there's a lot of like kind of like that tier below that as far as like in terms of sales. I think, you know, there's obviously going to be very good games, but I don't see anything that's going to sell like 25 million copies like some of the other like heavy Nintendo hitters. I mean, the Pokemon remakes will probably sell very well. I don't know if they'll sell as well as Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield was like the first Pokemon, first mainline Pokemon game made for consoles, so it was always going to do well. But the remakes are probably going to sell at least 10 million copies, if not much, much more over their lifetime. So that's still the big holiday game, although there are quite a few games now to really fill out that the lineup, and they're kind of like diverse. You know, there's different types of games, so it's something like, I mean, that was kind of their theme of their show, something for everyone. So a lot of stuff, you know, obviously got delayed till next year and the year after. It is looking like, just for gaming in general, 2022 and 2023 might be just absolutely stacked years across the board, not just with Nintendo, but with basically for video games in general. There is a lot of very big ticket games being released in 2022 and 2023. So much so that they might even push back some of them just to spread out releases. So next year, there is a lot to look forward to, but there's definitely still things to look forward to this year as well. So I'm sure, you know, Nintendo fans are, it seems like they're generally very happy. I mean, the like to dislike ratio, it was like 192,000 likes to like 3,000 dislikes. So like I said, overwhelmingly positive, it seems like, response as far as Nintendo fans go. I have to say, I was pretty disappointed not to see a Fire Emblem game. They're pretty consistent about the releases. You know, they didn't say something in the direct here. There's probably going to get something announced next year. You know, it's just a matter of time. I would really hope I mean, Three Houses sold very well for a Fire Emblem game. Yeah, it didn't sell as much as, you know, Animal Crossing or Breath of the Wild, but I mean, in the grand scheme of gaming, it sold extremely well. I mean, it's just comparing it to Nintendo games where it doesn't seem like it sold as well. But I mean, you compare it to any other gaming company, it sold very, very well. So I do hope they continue to come out with more of those games. Like I said, I just want some older games being ported to the Switch. Yeah, because I just started Fire Emblem Fate's Birthright, and I'm really enjoying it. And I love my 3DS, but I just wish I could play it on my Switch and just I could play all of them on my Switch. So yeah, that was a little disappointing not to see that, but other than that, I think people got almost everything they wanted. There was no Donkey Kong announcement. Just give it time, eventually one will come out. I think a lot of people kind of were thinking Mario Odyssey 2, because it's been a while since we've seen like a mainline Mario. I mean, there's like 3 Mario games coming out. You have Mario Party, you have Mario Golf, and Mario plus Rabbids. So there's 3 Mario games, but no mainline Mario game. So Odyssey 2, assuming there is an Odyssey 2, or whatever the next big Mario, like mainline Mario game ends up being, you would think that that's going to be the big holiday release. So now that makes, since Breath of the Wild, 2 is coming out next year, that makes me think the next big Mario game might be 2023. Because I don't see them doing a big Mario and a big Zelda game, in the same year competing against each other. And they're not going to release, a big Mario. I mean, I guess they could do it in like an early year release, but I don't think they will, because that's like a big holiday game. So yeah, and next year we're probably going to have the follow-up to Pokemon Sword and Shield, I would think. I mean, because they release Pokemon games pretty quickly. I wish they would release them less often so I could just put some more work into them. We do have Pokemon Legends Arceus, but that seems more like an experimental thing than it's not like a mainline one. Although I am looking forward to it. So maybe they'll hold off on the mainline Pokemon games for another 2 or 3 years, which is what I think they should do. Really work on it, because it needs to be worked on a little bit more. But anyways, let me know down in the comments how you felt about this Direct. Did the big game that you were looking forward to get announced? Was there something you were looking forward to, like a Donkey Kong or another Mario that didn't get announced that you were disappointed about? Like I said, I will be doing kind of a just a general scripted video on my E3 and general thoughts. I'll basically go over the winners and losers of E3. I thought Microsoft had a very strong showing as well. Some of the other bigger developers didn't have a very strong showing. Like I said, you have the pandemic delaying everything. It's kind of, understandable. So, and there's still like stuff that's going to be announced over the summer. Like there's still more events. We haven't seen everything, at least as far as summer announcements go. So there's going to be more coming out. Maybe not so much from, I'm sure Nintendo has more stuff they'll announce over the year too, because there's definitely going to be a Pokemon Direct, because Pokemon wasn't in this one. So I'm sure September or so, we will see a bigger look at the Diamond and Pearl remakes, and then maybe a little bit more into Pokemon Arceus. And they have a ton of games that they're always working on, so we'll see whatever else they're working on. And we just had a new Pokemon Snap release too, so it's not like nothing Pokemon has come out recently. And I'm also working on a couple of reviews. If you're not subscribed, now is a great time too. Like I said, I have a ton of videos coming out, and if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit the like button. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.